Okay, real quick for you because I'm kind of calling it right now because I know for sure, which is a little bit different. But Dortch will not make it. Max Melton will not make it. Marv will not make it. Rabbit will not make it. And Walter will not make it for this week. LJ will not be activated, although he's trending in a good direction. And then Kyler will not play again this year. So he had some more tests done this week, went out of state, got another opinion on it. It's not progressing where it's going to make sense that he can go. So he's going to be done for the year. So there's the list of injuries. Feel good about yesterday. We had a good day. Today's a little bit extended from our normal deal. Excited to play. What do we got?
Is Trey Benson going to
go? No.
Do you expect him to return this season?
I hope is not a great word. I hope so. He's trying his butt off. He's just not there yet.
Because you have the deadline in 5 days, or have you made a decision?
Yeah, I will do what's best for the team. He's trying to do everything he can to get ready to go. And yes, you have that deadline, but that doesn't mean you can't, activate him and then he could possibly be down. We just got to, whatever makes sense for him first and then for us, Teo.
Tyler, when did this kind of all come about?
This week, it wasn't, he's, progressing in a way that we wanted, so we went and got a different opinion, some different people, and kind of looked at it, and it's just not right.
How do you feel about the whole thing?
Disappointed.
Do you expect him to be the quarterback next year?
I'm worried about the Rams right now, honestly, Josh.
I know you mentioned Marvin's injury similar to being like Max's.
Yeah.
Are you worried that it could be extended more than just a week?
Yeah, I don't know. They're different because you got a little bit of protective. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but obviously your heel, right? It's a hard injury for a skill guy because they can run. That's why you saw like Marv. It was kind of, and even Max. They can run, but then they can't stick their foot in the ground. You know what I mean? There was a lot of pain, obviously. So a heel bruise is, and it's not something that you can medicate for them to feel good to play. That injury. So we'll see. They're both of them are a little bit different, and we'll just see how a little bit of rest helps.
Is there anything that's underrated about the Rams that you've come to know, or underappreciated? Like last week, they ran for like 7 yards a carry. I mean, is there anything you've come to, everyone points to obviously Devontae Adams and Puka and Stafford, but I mean, is there anything else either side of the ball that sort of?
You know what I would say? That's a good question, Paul, because when, obviously you have the record that they have a really good football team, right? So they do a lot of things really well. There's really no weakness in their game. I think their IQ as a football team is really good. They don't make mistakes that you see other people making. And to me, that starts with the coaches, Sean, and, they got a lot of good coaches over there. I think Coach Shula is doing a really good job. You got LaFleur and Ragone over there. Wendell, I got a high level of opinion of how they coach their players, because it shows up. You can tell they don't make a lot of mistakes. So, from being one of the top defenses, one of the top offenses out there, what shows up to me is they don't beat themselves.
With Kelvin getting Man of the Year, This is a guy who he's been a steady veteran. He's played whatever role you needed, whether it was muscle tight end or backup, or now he has to start. Just what is he bringing to the table? What does it mean to have a guy like that?
Yeah, I mean, he's a pro's pro, and when I walked in the building a while ago, it was like I obviously knew him as a player, and then you get to know him as a person and as a teammate. He's done everything that, that we stand for. Team over you, completely selfless, rallies around his teammates, holds people accountable. He's been an awesome guy to have on our team. That award's awesome. I hope he wins it. But he's, what you want on and off the field.
I want to go back to the offensive line conversation from Wednesday. I guess, phrase it this way, like, what do you want to see out of that group? What do you want to see them do better to kind of get back to the level that they were at last?
Yeah, it's kind of what I said, Teo. Like, when I said that to you, like I wasn't thinking about stats or anything like that, but like I laugh, like, because I'm like, the first thing when you look at, like, are we protecting the quarterback, right? And the sacks and the pressures are up, and then I'm like, well, what goes into that as a defensive guy is the sacks and pressure should go up if you're throwing the ball a lot more, right? So it's like, just a stat in itself might or might not tell the whole picture. What I would say is we need to keep the quarterback upright, and that's like two things, like not letting him get sacked and not having people in his face. We got to keep the pocket firmer. I always think that we need to keep the pocket firmer. And then in the run game, we got to, when we're running downhill, you got to move people vertically. When we're stretch and cut or edge attack plays or down and around plays that are hitting not right away downhill, you typically got to move people laterally. So that's really like in essence of an offensive line, and it's not just one guy; it's all five of them working together, And then in pass pro, what also goes into that is the quarterback, the receivers, the timing of that. So like, just to say that they're not playing well, I think that's just not a good reason about where we are. You know what I mean? So that's all I was getting at. But I think for an O-lineman, it's just like a corner. In the run game, don't let the ball cross your nose and make the tackle when it comes to you. In the pass game, don't let your guy catch the ball. There are some other variables to that, right? But for an offensive lineman to me is in the run game, don't let your guy make the tackle. Generate movement one way or the other. Don't let your guy make the tackle. And in the pass game, don't let the guy that you're blocking somewhere one or the other. If you're 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 or half on one and a half on one off of a chip, firm up the pocket and don't let your guy hit the quarterback. And I always think we can do that better.
When you go from an ultra-athletic quarterback to a pocket quarterback, does that change an offensive lineman's job description in any way? And do you scheme it up any different protections?
Yes and yes. I mean, there's some layers to that. You know what I mean, Paul? Like, yeah, absolutely. For our O-linemen, they understand, blocking for a different guy that has a different skill set, what that needs to look like for him to function. When it was Kyler, it's a little bit different, So, yeah, I think that there's layers to that, and then there's layers of play design about timing and rhythm of the passing game, because how Jacoby likes to play versus Kyler, whatever the case may be. So people rush us differently now. That goes into it as well. So we just got to make sure that we're putting our guys in the right spots as much as we can for them to have success.
You always have to have guys step up when other people get hurt. Injuries are part of the game. You've had so many of them. I know it's important for a coach to stay focused and deal with the guys that he does have, and that's how you got to approach it. Does it ever get overwhelming? Like, do you ever go into your office and you're like, man, another one. I can't believe there's another one.
That's the job, So I appreciate the staff because I'm the one that tells them, here's who's up, here's who's down, here's who's not going to make it, here's who's going to make it, this is what you have. And there is no negativity. There is no poor little old me. I would call that Plum's disease. That's from an old DB coach, Jerry Gray, that I worked for, that I got a high opinion of, Plum's disease, poor little old me. There is none of that, you know what I mean? Because that's the job. Like, you got to figure it out. Our job is to have solutions. And be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. And if you're negative or down in the dumps about this guy on IR, this guy's not coming back, this guy's not going to make it, how does that really help you do your job at the highest level that you can to try to win the game? That's the mindset I take. And that's the mindset they take. Now, are we human? Yeah, and so are the players. You know what I mean? But you got to block that out and forge ahead.
This is supposed to be the year it all came together for Kyler. He was fully healthy, third year with Drew and everybody, offense is back. What's it like to kind of see how it all unfolded?
I just feel bad for the quarterback. You know what I mean? I mean, he got hurt and he wasn't healthy enough to play, you know? So, I mean, that's first and foremost. You know, that's where I would leave it right now.